Do you have a fussy bird who won't eat their vegetables? Well, stick around because I've got over 20 different ideas to get your bird eating healthy and trying new things. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well and having a fantastic week. In today's video, Pickles, Scampi and I are going to tell you about lots of different ways that you can get your bird eating healthy and, more importantly, eating lots of different variety. Now, I totally understand how frustrating it can be to desperately want your bird to eat healthy and try lots of different vegetables, but they're being fussy or they're just not interested, which is why there's over 20 different ideas that you can try with your bird in this video. But I want to talk about something else because there's lots of different reasons why your bird may not eat vegetables, but part of it is going to be down to you and what you do for them. So I call this the 3 Ps: patience, perseverance, and presentation. Now, with patience and perseverance, you want to keep trying, offering your bird these foods. They're not necessarily going to try it on the first time or even the 10th time. They may need a really long time to try these foods. They need to recognize that they're foods and want to eat them. But also there is going to be wastage. That's something that's really important to remember. Parrots naturally waste food in the wild, and I've got a whole video about why that's the thing, so make sure you check that out after this one. There is going to be wastage. It's not ideal, but it's part of the process of getting your bird to eat healthy. And the other P is presentation. Sometimes presentation really is key when you're getting your bird to eat something new. They may not want to try it in one form, but in another way that might be really tempting and appealing, which is why there's lots of different ways that you can keep going, keep trying, and I have full faith that you will get your bird eating lots of tasty veggies. So first up, something that's super simple, super easy, is offering your birds thawed out frozen peas. They're probably one of the most favourite vegetables of all of our birds here. We could probably even use them as training treats. They love them so much. And the cool thing about peas, not only are they healthy, they're a great protein source for your birds, but also they kind of look like seeds. They're a little kind of ball of yummies, and that may get your bird trying these new things if they're a bit of a seed addict currently. Peas do have the skin on them, so you could also, if you want to be very particular for your bird, take the peas out of the skin. Again, that may be more tempting because sometimes texture can have a real impact again on whether your bird wants to try new things. Also, if you're wondering where Scampi is, he's just in my hair and they're having a little snuggle, which is adorable. The next one is bird bread. There's a variety of different kinds of bird breads, or you can make your own. Now, we don't necessarily recommend cooked foods for birds, but when you are doing diet transition and diet conversion, it can be a really great tool because you can bake different vegetables into these bird-safe bird breads. And we're not talking about human bread, these are birdie breads. And that may get your bird tempted to try new things, especially if you have rescued or rehomed a bird who may be used to human food, which is obviously not a good thing. But use that to your advantage by creating something that kind of looks like the unhealthy foods they might be used to, pack it full of veggies, hide them in there, kind of like you would for a child, and that may get them trying new things. Another simple way when it comes to texture and presentation is ricing vegetables. So things like ricing broccoli or cauliflower or other veg, that kind of thing. Again, it kind of makes it look like little seeds, and that's pretty tempting to a lot of birds who, again, quite often are seed addicts. So if we can kind of disguise some of these foods as seeds, you can maybe even mix it in with their seeds as well, that may get them thinking, oh, maybe I'll give this a little nibble. Now, kind of like with the bird bread, combining vegetables into other yummies can again get birds tasting and trying new things. So firstly, a tip that I showed in one of my previous DIYs, which was kind of fun and easy treats for birds, is kind of making like mashed sweet potato balls. And again, sweet potato is quite a tasty vegetable. It's kind of buttery and yummy and sweet, and hiding other little chopped up bits of veggies in there, rolling it into a little ball, can be really, really tasty for them to want to explore, nibble and try different things. Similarly, you can also offer your bird plain scrambled egg. Now, you don't want to be offering this too often because obviously it's got high cholesterol and high fat and things like that. But if you're making it no salt, no oil, nothing like that, just plain scrambled egg and mixing in some of these veggies, kind of like a mini birdie omelette, that is really tasty. Our birds really like that, and we tend to offer egg mostly during molting time, and of course be really careful about portion sizes too, but most birds will enjoy a small bit of cooked egg that's completely plain. Now and again, you could do it with kind of mashed boiled egg as well, whatever your bird prefers, but again, hiding those little chopped veggies in there is a really great way of getting them to explore the idea of trying different foods. Another huge favourite with my birds, especially with Mr. Scampi in there, are fresh herbs. They can be really cheap from the supermarket, especially when they get marked down at the end of the day. Or if you want to grow your own, that's amazing too. But offering your birds fresh herbs is fantastic. You can thread them through the cage bars, you can chop them into your chop, you can make a herb tree bundle. It's one of David's favourite things to make for the birds. It's a big bundle of safe herbs, things like mint, rosemary, thyme, dill, coriander or cilantro, depending on where you're from, or basil as well. And the cool thing about these herbs is they are very, very tasty. Some of them are very sweet. Mint has a mild calming effect, but they have lots and lots of flavour. Now, parrots have about 400 taste buds compared to our 10,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in the bird world, that is probably one of the most amounts of taste buds. They do definitely like tasting new things, especially you have birds like conures who are definitely sweet beaks. So if they're getting interested trying the taste and flavour of new things, that can be a great way of kind of making it almost into a toy, because when you bundle them all up together or thread them through the bars, they may see it as like a shredding toy, and that could be great fun. Now, getting super creative with the presentation of your veggies can be the real key to getting your birds to try them. You can offer the stalk of your broccoli. Again, a lot of people throw that in the bin, but it's full of nutrition. You can kind of carve holes into it and stuff other things into it. We've done this with Pickles pea, and we popped it on the floor of the cage and she went down and shredded the whole thing. We've done like cutting off the bottom of a bell pepper, filling that with other yummies like other vegetables or sprouts and things. We have done big chunky chop or small, really thin, finely grated chop, because again, texture can really play a part on whether your bird might like to try the chop. You can offer huge, great big leafy greens threaded through the bars. Again, lots of birds like budgies and cockatiels love to shred those. And of course, one of my favourites, which is the veggie kebab. Using a stainless steel kebab skewer hung in the cage with lots and lots of yummy vegetables threaded on there is a great way to encourage your bird to get shredding. And it really works with a lot of canopy feeder type birds, such as conures and macaws, but also our cockatiels really enjoy it as well. Now, I know a lot of birds actually don't really like green vegetables to start off with, and there is actually a study that shows a preference with birds towards red and orange foods. I'll link that down below if I can access that again, and I think that's really interesting. So why not try with some of these red and orange vegetables, which are great. They're full of beta carotene, which is necessary for the assimilation of vitamin A, which again a lot of birds are deficient in under human care. So having lots of red and orange vegetables like bell peppers and chilies, carrots, butternut squash, pumpkin as well, they're all fantastic to offer. Now, another funny trick that we tried with our birds that I've seen on a few other places is having a cup or a glass of water and putting some leafy greens or herbs in there and kind of pretending it's like a houseplant. Now, obviously you shouldn't have any unsafe houseplants in your home anyway, and there are a lot that are toxic to birds. But if you pretend that they're not supposed to have it, pretend it's a lovely bouquet of flowers, be like, shush them away, like, oh, you mustn't. A lot of these sassy little conures or other similar birds will march their way up like, no, I'm having it, I'm going to destroy your possessions, and they will start trying it. It's great fun. They think they're being naughty, and that is another fun way. And similarly, if you, say for example, have a plate of your own food, which is bird food, like chunky carrots and things, and you try and shoo your bird off, like, oh, you can't have it, it's my food, you mustn't be on my plate, or you're eating it, like shooing them away, again, they're more likely to be like, well, no, I want that, I want to see what you've got. This is really interesting. So pretending they can't have something that's healthy for them can sometimes work in your favour. Now, no matter how many birds you have, they will see you as their flock, and they will want to kind of eat with you and feel safe with you. We often find that if we're having our dinner, the birds will gravitate to their bowls and start snacking. So if you want to have a little plate of kind of bird safe stuff that you can eat and have a little bowl for them and have them next to each other and pretend you're having a little dinner date with them, again, they're like, well, if my human's eating it, maybe I'll try it too, especially if they try and eat it off your plate as well. Just make sure that you are only offering bird safe yummies. I will have a link in the description of a huge safe and toxic list of over 1,000 different things. You can make sure what you're offering is going to be safe for your bird. Now, one of my tips for getting birds to play with toys kind of works with vegetables as well, and that's actually reinforcing your bird for interacting with them. Don't forget that you can use positive reinforcement with all different kinds of things, and that can include reinforcing your bird for having beak to vegetable contact. Sounds silly, but it does work, because then they understand, okay, I need to interact with this in order to get some yummies, and then go from there. Similarly, a very simple technique for getting your bird to try new things is to have your bowl of vegetables or yummies and just sprinkle a little bit of high value treats on there, high value seeds and things like that, because again, as they pick around, they may end up getting little mouthfuls of these vegetables and try them too. Now, some of the things you should be including in your bird's diet as well as your vegetables is soaked and sprouted items. These are super healthy, they have a great source of bioavailable protein, and there's loads and loads of vitamins, minerals and micronutrients in there. Now, a lot of birds really take to soaking and sprouting because it's kind of basically like their seeds. Again, if they're seed addicts and you soak and sprout certain things, again, not everything can be soaked and sprouted, so do make sure, or drop me a comment down below and I can let you know. If you start this sprouting or soaking process, you're starting the germination process. So you're using up the fat reserves in the seed, grain or legume, and you're making it healthier. You're growing it into a living plant like they would eat in the wild, but it's also really healthy. And again, they're kind of a bit green, they're living, they're full of moisture and things like that, so that can be something that can tempt your bird into trying fresher foods. Now, if your bird really likes nuts, you can use that to advantage. If you get some organic nut butter, not peanuts and not with any salt or anything else in there, just the plain nuts, or you mash up some ripe banana, have that on a spoon, and you can stick in some little sprouts or soaked things, and they may want to try that because it's in the lovely nutty thing or it's in the lovely sweet banana, and they may pick around and try that. And I saw that from my friend Dr. Jason Korean as one of his tips, so definitely try that with your bird as well. Now, a mistake that people often make is actually the time of day that they try and offer their birds new things. Now, we always recommend offering your fresh foods first thing in the morning because your birds are going to be hungrier. Now, we never want to starve our birds at all in order to get them to try new things, but naturally most of us will have a bit more hunger motivation first thing in the morning for breakfast, so try your bird with those fresh things first thing in the day. And then if you want to offer dry things like your pellets or dry mix or whatever it may be, offer that in the afternoon or evening instead, so your bird has plenty of time to try these healthy and fresh items. If your bird is a bit fussy about textures, doesn't really like wet kind of textures as well, then maybe freeze-dried vegetables is the way to go. There are lots of different suppliers that you can try with freeze-dried vegetables. Again, leave me a comment down below if you'd like some recommendations. But freeze-dried vegetables are crunchy, tasty, and nutritious as well, because when things are freeze-dried, they retain about 95% of the nutrition, whereas compared to things like dried vegetables or dried fruits and things like that, they're usually about 50 to 70%. It's not quite as accurate. So freeze-dried is super healthy, super crunchy, and you can get really creative with offering lots of different things too. You can also grow your bird microgreens. Now, you don't need soil, you don't need a garden. I've done a whole tutorial on how you can start growing microgreens for your birds. It's like the next step up from sprouting. It's the most nutrient dense point in the plant's life. So if you can offer that, again, you can make it into a game. You can let your bird kind of just pick it out of the microgreens tray and chew that. You can pop it into the chop. You can offer it in lots of different ways, but microgreens are very healthy and again may tempt your bird into trying new things. And finally, I just wanted to reiterate a few points. There's always going to be wastage with this, and that's okay. If you want to mop up the crumbs, so to speak, and snack on anything that they don't want, that's okay. But don't be disheartened if there is wastage. I totally understand when it comes to finances and things, we don't want to be wasting food, but unfortunately that is part and parcel of getting your birds to try new things. They're not always going to want to try it. So be patient, be persistent, persevere. Presentation as well. Try different things in different ways, and I have full faith, as I said at the start, that you are going to get your bird trying new things. So that does bring me to the end of this video. I hope you really enjoyed seeing all the different ways that you can get your bird to eat healthy vegetables. If you have any other tips that I haven't included in this video, please make sure you leave them down in the comments, as I would love to speak to you. But from Cheeky Scampi and Cheeky Pickles, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day. Take care and see you later.